Maintaining the PDT rule is definitely hard and kind of becomes that next step, or really maintaining your grown account, whether you start above the PDT or don't. And so really this is going to hone in for traders that are growing their PD, growing up to the PDT or right at the PDT, and mainly for those that have grown it to the PDT and how to maintain the PDT. And so the main thing you've been doing, what have you been doing to be successful, team? What have we did or essentially done from day one when you come into chat and you've learned from Deck? What have you done, day one learning from me? Learning defining resistance and support, right? Where old resistance equals new support. Old high of day becomes a bounce play off of it, and then even multiple times. And most likely, as AK's yelling about all the time, the more we test these areas, the more we test. The risky biscuits we're getting. Now we're hanging out with Snakeskin Randy and those guys that are very risky, right? And so we know what? Old resistance equals new support. Define our resistance and support areas. Know that when we come back down to said old resistance equals new support, AK calls them sandwiches in the end right here. This area is a nice little sandwich. Nice little bounce play. And the more we bounce out that area, the testier we're getting or what's going to crack, right? And so know those things, right? Know what what you're looking for. Putting your trend lines in. What have you been doing this whole entire time? You've noticed not only on top of the fact of finding, what your resistance area is here, next resistance area that becomes support, next true resistance area, then your top area, right? A little small one, even kind of right here through the 240 to 50 area, is what? Putting your trend lines in and trading them. It's kind of like what Tim was talking about. I've even could put like an uptrend channel here, starting from here, going almost right up perfectly, and especially right here, boom, boom. That's almost perfect right there. That's a perfect line where traders are what? Taking profit from the bounces off the trend line, right? And so put your lines in and trade them. Were you not doing that this whole time? What were you doing that was so successful? Was it it was downtrend breaks, or was it, the trend line, all these trend lines that are forming and you're buying the bounces off of them over maybe the new high of day or from these flag breaks, or maybe like me, waiting for them to get elongated for so long. And what happens when a trend line finally gets tested and tested and tested? We short that opportunity, right? And so we're doing these things that we've been doing successfully for the past, say, 3 months, 5 months, 6 months, maybe it's been 2-3 years that it's taken you to grow in your account from 5K to 25K, 10 to 15K up to 25K. Maybe you just started with the PDT rule around that area and you're just trying to still maintain it and hold it. These are the things that you want to do and continue to do is what you've been successful at. Now, maybe if you haven't been successful, then that's just kind of a whole different lesson, right? This is really main for it. And it seems like for those trainers that have been successful, have grown it, but now they're struggling and it's become like when we come back to it, and I've said in the past, and I think I said it on Friday, stock trading is 99.99999, and it's all physical or mental, team, not physical. It's all mental, right? There's no mental aspect to this. Like we're jokingly said the other day, even if he's in chat right now, the session from yesterday that I had at lunch, about snapping when I snap a finger or something. Oh my trigger finger's down, right? We're not going to get injured playing this. It has no physical. When we know it's really 100% mental, and so those hurdles are going to come, and it's about how overtaking them. And so when you get to these certain areas, and for whatever reason your mind starts, I'm almost to the PDT. Now I'm going to start trading bigger. I'm going to start doing things. No. If you were buying any of these trades, right, say these halt strategies, and you were waiting for them like AK does, and it's that time of the year when it's hot, and we love halt strategies, we wait for it to, gap up, open up well above, and give me some spiking, then just put your order in and go, hey, you come down to the halt area, I'm going to get you, right? If you had been normally doing 500,000 shares on these, you're not up in that now to, I can do like 5,000. I can really not think about it. I can probably like 5,000 or 3,000. Don't. Because the moment it fails on you and you blow up, it's for the one time it doesn't work, right? And you have this negative trade because you went in big, boom, take a massive loss. And then you're well below the PDT again. Or maybe, man, I'm real close to the PDT now again. Don't continue to do what you've been doing. You always go 500 shares here. Continue to do that. You're going to look back and you're going to finally see your account size that grown at, say, 74K. Well, that's well past. But you know what I'm saying? 27K. Okay, now it's 29K. You know what I'm saying? Then it's 33K, 37K, 40K. 42K. It's going to slowly but surely grow. Then you can slowly but surely, now I'd say, team, around the 50K mark, around when you're over 25K above the PDT, as in you've grown it to the PDT. Now you're 25-ish K over the PDT. That's where maybe you can start taking a little bit more chances. Maybe trading a little bit more. It's not, hey, I'm over the PDT. I can trade all day, every day now. I'm going to start doing things way differently. It'd be like King Griffey Jr., one of my favorite, most beautiful swings of all time. If you don't think that's the most pretty swing of all time in baseball, you need to go back and look at it again and kind of question yourself. I'm telling you right now, it's by far anyway. Do you think King Griffey's going to all of a sudden go to the right-hand side, being a left-handed, the prettiest swing he's ever seen, or anyone's ever seen? Anyway, you're going to the right-hand side and start batting now? You get my point. If I'm a right-handed hitter, am I going to go left-handed now all of a sudden? I'm batting like 500. Batting 500, imagine, because if you're a successful trader, you're batting over probably 500 right on most of your trades. And so I'm batting 500 from the right-hand side of the plate. I'm right-handed team. Do you think I'm all of a sudden going to be like, you know what? I'm just killing it. I'm killing it. 500. Tons of home runs, triple C, whatever. I'm gonna go lefty now. I'm gonna go lefty on these guys. No, not until you've just banked so much to where you're like, you know what? Now I want to do things a little bit differently. Continue to do what's working best for you, right, team? That's what you want to use. You don't want all of a sudden change up the strategy. Tom Brady, any sport. Michael Jordan, he's going to start playing, left-handed now, and he's going to be the center. Tom Brady is going to be the center now. He's tired of taking the snap. He wants to snap the ball. He's like, you know what? I'm snapping the ball now. I'm tired of taking the snap. I want to snap the ball. He's going to get killed. He's going to get murdered. So, you know what I'm saying? So he's not changing things up. You like VWAP bounces, and they correlate with maybe another, you know what I'm saying? Those are working for you. Take your VWAP bounces. Old resistance equals new support. Continue doing that. You love trend lines. Play your trend lines here. I can just break this down left and right, right and left. Squeezes here. Look at this. I could have put this on another nice little squeeze, getting tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter till we finally what? Break and get a nice good breakout right there. And so trade what you're successful with. If whatever it is working, and it had been working, and you grew it from 10K to 25K. You grew it from 10K to 30, you're over it, and then you're back at it, and you're over it, and you're back. You know what I'm saying? You need to do what was always working for you at best. Now, again, market conditions are going to change, and maybe those strategies aren't working as well. Well, maneuver them around a little bit. Don't trade those said strategies as much. You may have to not take as many trades as much essentially is what I'm saying. Maybe have to work on times right now like I did. Like times right now when, say, I was only bounce plays I knew and they were not working at all. What do you think I learned how to do, team? I learned how to short. I learned how to do other things to look for other than going, hey, I know this is my one strategy. I can kill it when it's a little bit, when there's something moving. There's nothing moving really enough to get any kind of bounce. So what am I going to do differently, right? And so I start shorting. Like here, I love when stocks are hot and can spike from, say, $2.50 up to $7 in pre-market and then still count back. And of course, I love going over this one like I did on Friday, using past chart history. I use that over. I didn't stop using past chart history all of a sudden. You know what, team? I'm over the PDT rule. Forget past chart history. I'm going to use just a instead of the 1 year, 1 day, I'm going to go to a 4 month, 5 or whatever, 5 hour chart. I have no idea. You get what I'm saying? I stuck to my 1 year, 1 day chart and continue to. So then I can go back and find beautiful bounce plays like this and go, man, boom, 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 boom. A lot of old resistance, which becomes what? New support once above it on charts, right? And so then I come back down and then boom, got the bounce play. Or if traders, you move the moving averages, right? On the intraday. A lot of traders use that on the intraday, and I totally understand that. Love it. Most recent one I'm sure you've seen that has just been super successful doing it, Arnoldo Trader. So do it, team. If this is something that you want to do, these are some of the most frequent ones used. You also can do these, the 9 and the 20 SMA on the intraday. Those also work as well. But these are the best moving averages to use. And if those work for you, use your moving averages. That's one that I found worked out for me that, if you want to use moving averages, of course, even on the daily using moving averages, which we all need to be using, see a stock moving up to, say, the 200-day moving average. I think there was actually something on Friday that moved into the 200-day moving average and saw a nice fail at it. And that's exactly what we're always looking for. Like Deck, of course, for the longest time has preached it. You see him more than you see me. But we're always like, hey, ABC is moving up into the 200-day moving average, team. The 210 area is going to be tough resistance. Watch for a fail there and a nice short opportunity. We've got to get over that. Now, over that, of course, the next leg up, but watch for the moving average. You're not changing anything else. Let's go back to let's go through more stuff. What else do we all, maybe you're using the level 2. I don't use it as much as some traders do. Some love using it, right? Here's, going in for a buy play. Well, level 2 for bounces. You want to come in and see the bid just stacking up big time. Like we always say, you want to see the bid stacked. You don't want to see the ass stacked at all. You want to see hardly anyone getting rid of anything, and it's far away from the 480 to 482-ish area you want to get into. Maybe you want to get in around on 480. You're going to be golden. There's going to be a lot of people buying here at 480, right? And so know to use a level 2, right? Know how to use it. If you've been using it, continue to use it, right? Don't all of a sudden try to change things up or this new strategy thing's going to be forming with the level 2. Continue to use it like you were, essentially using it before. Locating resistance, where not to buy, or maybe kind of sell these shares like, hey, I'm about to run into a prime area resistance. The ask is starting to stack up right here. I need to get out of my share size. There's hardly anyone wanting to buy. Plus, I can see the resistance area on maybe my charting. And then I see all these people about to be getting rid of some shares, or maybe look for a good short opportunity. Scaling out, something that I was brought up to me multiple times over the past weekend. Had that a couple of times. Like, what's Nick doing when he kind of gets in and he's getting out, along the way, essentially? And I'm like, scaling out, preach it big time, love it, love it, love it. Find your areas, right? Past chart history, which I did. I love this. I love going over this SLS trade. It was one of my first times to essentially start scaling out is my main thing. It's always kind of give it my scale up, but it was one of those beautiful when my dips were just amazing and just killing it still in 2020. But that was in the prime of when I was still, was one of my main strategies was dip buys. And so this is one of my best ones ever. I say best ones, but it was beautiful. Waiting and calling this out before the market opened. I remember alerting this all in this area. I have the original lesson where I pull over my alerts from chat, showing you where I alerted this beforehand, looking for the 240 bounce, look for this to pull back at the 240 area at the market open, and then where to scale out. The VWAP, 275, anything over 2.9, this is going, not say blitzo, but it's going big time. And then you can see over 2.9, it went big time, right? And so that was the beautiful area. I scaled out the VWAP. I scaled out some at 275. I couldn't even scale out the 2.9 area because it just shot up so fast. I was out around 3+. And so, yes, love it, right? And so learn to do that. Pay yourself on the way up, If you're always moving your stop loss up too, like you're not always having to stick to your stop loss when this starts moving up in your area, you're doing what? You're sticking to that stop loss that we talked about, or you're moving up to your entry as the stock moves, or you're moving it up essentially as the stock moves up. You're not leaving it down here at still 220 till. The ticker moves in your direction, that stop loss needs to come up to your entry. The more it moves up, then it moves up. So that way you move, leave the green trade, or leave the trade green, I should say. Just continue to do what you were doing, more beautiful scaling out areas, right? Where you're not, again, we'll get to the point, like the guy we brought up earlier, crazy trader, where you hold for elongated runs, where few and far between traders that I see can hold from, here to like, hey, wait, watch for this to hit, hit the 6 to whatever area, hold. I promise you're good to go. You don't get those many traders, and it takes years to get there. I know he had been trading for 10, 20 years or so, easy. And that was 3-4 years ago now. Or 2 years ago now. So you get my point. He'd been trading for 10 plus years. I mean, that shows you how long it takes to get to where you can see where things can maybe move to, essentially, and to hold. Because why? Your entry area is down here. Like, say, if we bought in originally here, you were never even close to not only your entry, but a stop loss, nothing, right? And so hold. You'll get there. That's why at first me and Deck, we preach, pay yourself on the way up. You're in at 375. 50-cent move isn't good enough for you to start taking some profit off the table back up to this old, kind of shelf, old resistance, equals new support, or old support equals new resistance, which this becomes the case right here. And the same thing moving up more. Now this was old resistance, so we know anything back over the 450 area into the VWAP, we know we got to start taking some profit off the table into the VWAP, and maybe 5 at most. That's where I would have been out of this trade fully. If I was still in at the VWAP at that point in time, a dollar move, I'm probably taking all shares off the table. I may have, maybe that's which I call, and you see when it's hot enough. If you've been around chat long enough, I say, hey, we're holding my remaining shares, snakeskin Randy style. Stop losses, say $4 or whatever. So that's what it's not hot enough to even close to be doing that recently. And so that's what I'm saying. You kind of take your profit on the way up, especially recently. And so you can kind of see maybe areas where you want to buy in at and where you're scaling in at. Green the buy. Red's where you would be selling in at, and you can keep doing that up along the way. You're never trying to hold these team most times for, I want to get back up to pre-market highs. It maybe does get there, but how often do you see these runs, team, that go from 250 up to 7, come down all the way to 375 and make it back up to that? Very few and far between. Let's go through how many tickers we see each day and how many do this. So you got maybe, I would say, and be honest, you'd say about 5%. 5% of tickers we're going to see this year, maybe 10 at most, will do something like this. And I'd say it's somewhere probably close to the 5% range. Maybe probably even less than that. Very few. And so why you take your money on the way up? Pay yourself in target areas. Old resistance equals new support, or also any resistance areas you run into are going to be, essentially resistance on the way back up. So however, whatever you're doing trading, of course, I'm going over scaling out. You're doing level 2 areas. You're using moving averages, whether on the daily or the intraday. You're using, which you better be using all day, every day, 100% for sure, no matter what kind of trader you are. The 1 year, 1 day chart, using the yearly. You're looking for VWAP bounces, you're playing halt strategies, you're playing trend line plays, whether it was, trend line bounces, breaks above the flag and up, of course, the trend line cracks, which I love for the short. Whatever you're looking for in trading and you were successful at, trade that. Don't do anything differently than you were doing if you grew your account successfully before. It goes back to even like going, I know a few of us did this. Kind of back to me when I with penny, I always want to call it penny stocks now because I haven't paper traded in forever. But paper trading, when I paper traded forever ago, even though I know it's paper trading, every time I went from, and we all do it, it's like at the driving range. Man, I'm good at the driving range, but every time I get out that very first hole, shank, left, right, you're right, it's hard to transfer paper trading into real time. I know it is. But if you were paper trading, and it's real time, if you're at a platform where you can do it real time, like Mind, Sink, or Swim, it was beautiful, and especially a couple years ago, it was so fast, so amazing. When I first paper traded, back in 2016 and 17, it was so fast. So if you're at somewhere like that where you can actually get it with real time, and you're successful in your trading, you're a successful team. That's not like it's some other video game. It's not like we're going from, Mario Brothers to now playing like Call of Duty. It's not like, well, it's good at Mario Brothers, we're good at Call of Duty. No. You're good at Mario Brothers, you're going to be good at, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's the same thing. So you know how to get over, again, that I talked about earlier, that mental process. It's 100% mental in what we do. And so these mental hurdles are huge as humans. We are, right? If I, again, go back to that whole theory of, I'm your older brother, and back in the day, this happened to me a lot. We're messing around with each other, and my older brother did it to me, but fake like he was going to throw the basketball at me, or, kind of fake punch at me, just to mess with me, And then what's the reaction as your little brother? You throw your arms up to kind of protect your face because you don't want to get hit in the face with a basketball. The sooner you can get over those, what you do over time, and then show your brother oh yeah, look at me now, do it. And then finally it becomes and really throws it and hits you in the head, and you're like, well, thanks. I was trying to prove that I've gotten over this instinct and not to be scared of you. But that's it. It's working on those instincts, and we're all going to have that, right? And so at that mental hurdle, whether you go from paper trading to real time, you go from 5K, now you're at 25K. Oh my gosh, don't change things. If it was successful before, it will continue to be successful. I promise you, team.